Well, we're in Fairview today presenting a check to Fairview Public Schools from the Shelter Oklahoma Schools Fund to help them finish out a storm shelter. They passed a bond issue locally to do a storm shelter, but the construction costs were higher than what they were able to do in their bond issue. And so this is a great partnership to be able to have these private dollars to match with the local taxpayers' money to finish the shelter behind us that is potentially going to be available should they need it to save the lives of children here in Northwest Oklahoma.
Can you tell me a little bit about the group that made the donation today?
Well, Shelter Oklahoma Schools has been doing projects around the state, not just in the metro area, but it was started after the devastating tornado in Moore by Representative Mark McBride and Representative John Eccles. And it's been a great thing for our state. A lot of private dollars. Oklahoma Farm Bureau contributed money to this. Apache Corporation and several others that have contributed to make this possible, to be able to do these grants around the state to make sure that we have shelters in place for children to hopefully avoid the tragic loss of life like we saw in Moore.
And for a community like Fairview, not the biggest community obviously in Oklahoma, how is that important to tie those dollars back with what the community can do?
Well, it's a great partnership. There's only so much that the school district's able to do with their bonding capacity, and then you issue bids. If your construction costs come in higher, you're kind of in a tight spot. And so this is where the grant dollars come in from Shelter Oklahoma Schools to be able to make up that difference so the project can be completed sooner rather than later and be available in case these schools need it this spring as storm season is upon us. So it's a critical key part of the ingredient to be able to make sure we're able to build storm shelters around the state, have them available in these communities for the school as well as the community should they be needed. We hope they're never used. We hope they never need them. But as we saw in Moore, there are times when they are needed, and it's critical that we have those available because we know ultimately we will have tornadoes in Oklahoma. We don't know where or when, but we want to be as prepared as we can when that time comes.
Do you know about the construction costs of this particular facility?
I think it was around $500,000 is what the construction costs ended up being on this facility. The bond issue, I believe, was able to fund about $350,000. They received a $100,000 grant from Shelter Oklahoma Schools, and then they're receiving private donations from the community, as you see in so many rural communities around the state where private dollars come in to make up the difference to be able to provide the funds to complete the facility. So a lot of different people coming together to make this project work, and we sure want to say thank you to Oklahoma Farm Bureau for their contribution to Shelter Oklahoma Schools and their participation in this project and others around the state that are so critical to the young people in Oklahoma.